Hello, this is an open letter to Andrew Wilkow. First of all, before I get into the meat of my letter, I don't have no letter here to read over. This is just something in my mind that I got to get out to him. I am a person that's served for 24 years in the United States Air Force. I'm a disabled veteran. I was a Democrat for 30 years. In 2016, I voted for Trump because he seemed like the right person to help those people, especially in the Rust Belt and some of the parts of the country that have been pretty much forgotten. And one of the reasons why I voted for him is because I actually found your channel and started to change some of my beliefs when it comes to conservatism. Like I said, I was a liberal for a long time, and I believed most of what they told me. And we could talk about the cultural Marxism and all the programming that I got being from the left. But I'm calling to you, or talking to you today about your response to what happened in Charlottesville. To say I'm disappointed is it's even more than that. I understand from your position it's hard for you to, quote unquote, take the side of the alt-right or people that might be in a movement of white nationalism. That you obviously can't do that because it'll hurt your bottom line. You'll probably lose your job, lose your advertisers and all that stuff. My issue is you're tweeting after the event, and specifically when you compared people that are from the Antifa to have the same type of political ideologies that the people in the alt-right, or basically grouped us all to the same areas, and you think they were basically from the same side of the political ideology. And I find that almost also, so you understand that I'm not nervous talking to you. I had a stroke, so I can't talk as well as I used to. So some of the words I won't be able to get out correctly. So this is not me being nervous talking to you. I would welcome that invitation to be able to talk to you on your show and let my message to come out to other people. It's doubtful that will ever happen, but I'm saying that I will do it, and I'd love to do that. But I wasn't going to say anything to you. I responded to you in your Twitter. It seems that you only respond to people that I guess you think that you're so much smarter than to. You never respond to my tweets, and I get you have thousands of followers. I get it 100%. And I sent you a video from Dr. Swain to talk about, that talk about what the alt-right is and why it actually started back in the early 2000s. I heard nothing about it. I didn't listen to your show yesterday because there's no reason for me to get more upset with you than I already am. But I just want to talk and take away your tweets and from my side to try to understand it. Several times I've reached out to people that I don't agree with from a respectful point of view. Almost all of them have actually responded to me, and we had dialogue after that. All of us are still in the same area that we were before, but we had respectful dialogue. Like I said, I was going to let it go, but until Stephen Crowder basically said the same thing you did last night. So now I think I need to talk to both of you, and maybe I'll send this along to Stephen Crowder as well. We aren't the same as National Socialism. We're not the same as the KKK or the Sons of Confederacy or other quote-unquote white power groups. The alt-right was a response to people in this country that have been left behind. And both of you guys talk about this. You talk about the effects of multiculturalism. But when we talk about it from the idea that we want to preserve the Western civilization, and I think you both would say the same thing. I know Stephen Crowder talks about it, but both of you cannot go to the next level. You don't realize, or you won't say it, that Western civilization was a creation of white people. Now, that may sound racist to you, and you don't want to go down that road, and I get it. Both of you get your money from more people listening to you than not people listening to you. Your advertisers and all that information. I get that. But when you group us to the side with people that believe from a leftist point of view, that you somewhat compare us to communism and socialism, it's not fair. and you need to be called out for it, and you both are going to be called out right here for it. We believe, now look, I do not prescribe to all of the things that Richard Spencer said, that 20-point manifesto that he put out there. I don't agree for all of it. But what I do know, that most of the people I talk to on the alt-right, the people that are come from an intellectual standpoint, that looks at it from the science when it comes to race, and we're going to talk about that, there are four or five things that we need to talk about when it comes to the alt-right, or whatever you want to call it, the awakening of the white man in this country or in Europe, whatever. First of all, race is real. And you both have said this, that because you were always yelling at the SJWs talking about that race as being a social construct. It is absolutely real, and there are differences between the races. Individually, no, there's not. You can't just take this one guy that looks down the street. There's a black guy could have a 148 IQ, and I could have a 1.10 or 110. But from a group standpoint, there are differences between the races, not just from IQ, but physical differences, bone structures, the size of the head. Now, oh my God, it sounds like Hitler and his doctor said 70 years ago, when their research was true as well. It doesn't make them racist for doing it. It doesn't make me racist to point out the absolute fact that science has done, especially in the psychological field. It is the most studied thing in the world. We're talking about IQ here, and people in the West want to have that conversation, but we can't have it, because if we have these conversations, we're called racist. Now, most people want to help people, and probably one of the biggest failings of the liberal left is that we tried so hard to help people we thought they were beneath us, that in a lot of ways we disempowered them. And I'm talking about social welfare, the welfare state that are in the black community and in the white community. But in the alt-right, there are 4 or 5 tenets. One of them is race is real, and that means there is a correlation between race and culture. And we want to say, and I think that you would say the same thing, that the Western civilization is the greatest culture of all time. And then when we see that it's being destroyed from within, from our immigration, that's the second point, is we want that to be limited in some way. And you want to do the same thing. So apparently we're on the same side of this. First I talk about race. You won't probably go down there with that, but you'll understand that Western civilization is probably the best of all time, but you won't go where that goes. It says that who created Western civilization, and it's white people. So if people on the alt-right might say, well, race is real and the IQ is higher than people from Africa, these are facts. It's not racist to say it. Immigration, we feel that it needs to be quelled. But for me, personally, I would say that 80% should come from Europe or from Australia or from quote-unquote white countries that speak English, because they should be able to come here as much as anybody else. We need to balance the over-craziness that happened the last 40 years or 50 years of immigration and illegal immigration in this country that changed the balance in this country for the demographics from the 1965 when it was 90% white in this country. Nobody in this country or on the alt-right that really looks at these informations, from an intellectual standpoint, ever believes it's going to be 90% back in this country. And just because Richard Spencer says he wants an ethno-state, we know that's not going to happen. But there should be a balance in this country, and it should reflect the founders' wishes. Of course, clearly they were all racist right now, because they believe that only white people or free white people should come to this country. Now we progress from that, and we let other people come up here, and we're all fine with that for the most part. Most of us are disenfranchised liberals, conservatives that don't have any say, and you talk about it all the time on your show, that the Republican Party doesn't do anything, and you want to fight them so much all the time. But when somebody that is talking about things that are almost similar to what you talk about every day, but you don't have the courage to talk down further, you just want to label us as something else, that we're all white supremacists because we think that white people should be preserved, or that the culture should be preserved. Well, I'm not going to allow that to happen. And my 140 subscribers is not you. I get it. I hope that you'll read this, but this needs to be out there. And Steven Crowder needs to be called out. Last night he said, I know I'm getting a lot of hate for it. But he knows that the issue is there. He thinks that everybody that are in the alt-right just think it's always the Jews that we have to blame. I've said several times in my videos that we got to stop blaming the Jewish people. We have to do better for ourselves. Now, it gives me the third point. I started with race is real, immigration. It's very similar. Simple to me. It should be 80% that comes in this country have to speak the language that come from European heritage. Have to come here to be a skilled thing, and we should celebrate. The other 20% could be from anywhere else, but they still need to come. They need to come here with a skill to help the country, and that should go on for a long time to the point we actually get back to where it's a more mix should be better. Traditions, family traditions. We should encourage white people to reproduce. Now, you probably heard of the 14 words, and maybe it's racist to say that we want white people to have babies. I don't think it's that bad. But you know how the lefty media, and apparently you support it too, that you think that everybody should just be successful and not worried to have babies and stuff. I mean, how many have you had? 3, 4? I guess you've done your bit. But you know how the lefty media is. They want women especially to challenge with men in the workplace to have that competition. And then we find out that all the studies shows that women are the most unhappy that they've been since recorded history. Because whether they want to say it or not, part of their instinct is to have babies and to care for that. And we've taken that from them. And that's almost from the left. But people like you, I guess, support that. These are very common sense that we should support family traditions, that we support women in the home. They still should go to school. They should get a trade and all that stuff. But we should look at them and from a positive side of it. And you know that 90% of the or more than that of the media looks at women that stay at home as pariahs on the society. And then you see all these magazine covers that shows people just having babies. And then, of course, the other part of that is they like to show the white man, the black man with a white woman. And there are people that are on the alt-right that probably looks at that and say that's racist. I don't care. I think that, I don't look at it that way, but what I do know that instinctually we tend to mate from the same tribe. We do. And I think if we are more positive when it comes to that, we'll end up having more babies. And I'm against, and I think most people on the alt-right are against abortion. There are some that they have a lefty slant, like Richard Spencer has, but it needs to be stopped. So there are those 4 things, and if you do all those things together, you'll get pride back into the culture here. We'll celebrate our family, and everything will be a lot better. Now, that's not anything about being a white supremacist or National Socialism or the KKK. No matter how you spin it, it's not that. And it's what Stephen would say, it's not what that is. And that, I think, that I talk for most in the alt-right. Now, yes, there are people on the outside, people that do carry in with Nazi flags, and we need to do something about that. And I have said several things about Richard Spencer and the planning about Charlottesville. Now, we find out yesterday that he was not in charge of the planning of it, but he still has to take some of the responsibility. And I guess both you and Stephen actually come out and talks about Antifa, that they're violence, but you still want to equate us from a political ideology. You both did it. I mean, Stephen did it last night, saying that we're like different 3 points that were the same. So you can have people that are going to look at that and say, you're just like everybody else. You're not the alt media. You're just the same. You're the media that everything else is. Because at the end of the day, you're being run by media, by money. And so you have the platform. And again, I understand that you can't really say it because you would lose all that shit. And, money is a very powerful thing. But you're a coward. Both of you are. And that's all I have to say. If you have, I don't know, any balls to actually talk to me, through a Skype, or I'll call you on the phone. We can have this conversation. And again, I'm not a leader of the alt-right. I'm somebody who came from, I was a classical liberal for 30 years, and I started, I woke up. And You're the problem, both of you. So I would love to be able to talk to you. You guys have a good day, and the rest of the people that watch my YouTube channel, please comment down below, and we'll have a discussion down there. And please share this video, and thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.